What is heat treatment and why is it done?
Heat treatment can be defined as a combination of processes or operations in which the heating and cooling of a metal or alloy is done in order to obtain desirable characteristics without changing the compositions. Some of the motives or purpose of heat treatment are as follows: in order to improve the hardness of metals, for the softening of the metal, in order to improve the machinability of the metal, to change the grain size, to provide better resistance to heat, corrosion, where etc. Heat treatment is generally performed in the following ways: normalizing, annealing, spheroidizing, hardening, tempering, surface or case hardening.
Well, what are the rules that must be kept in mind while designing castings?
Some of the points that must be kept in mind during the process of cast designing are as follows: to avoid the concentration of stresses, sharp corners and frequent use of fillets should be avoided. Section thicknesses should be uniform as much as possible. For variations, it must be done gradually. Abrupt changes in the thickness should be avoided at all costs. Simplicity is the key. The casting should be designed as simple as possible. It is difficult to create true large spaces, and henceforth large flat surfaces must be avoided. Webs and ribs used for stiffening in castings should as minimal as possible. Curved shapes can be used in order to improve the stress handling of the cast.
Very good. What are the factors that can affect the factor of safety selection?
The factor of safety is used in designing a machine component. Prior to selecting the correct factor of safety, certain points must be taken into consideration, such as 1. The properties of the material used for the machine and the changes in its intrinsic properties over the time period of service. Point 2. The accuracy and authenticity of test results to the actual machine parts. Point 3. The applied load reliability. Point 4. The limit of stresses, localized. Point 5. The loss of property and life in case of failures. Point 6. The limit of initial stresses at the time period of manufacture. Point 7. The extent to which the assumptions can be simplified. The factor of safety also depends on numerous other considerations, such as the material, the method of manufacturing, the various types of stress, the part shapes, etc.
What are the points that should be kept in mind during forging design?
Some of the points that should be followed while forging design are: a radial flow of grains or fibers must be achieved in the forged components. The forged items such as drop and press forgings should have a parting line that should divide the forging into two equal halves. The ribs in a forging should not be high or thin, in order to avoid increased die wear. The pockets and recesses in forgings should be minimum. In forgings, the parting line of it should lie as far as possible in a single plane. For ease of forging and easy removal of forgings, the surfaces of the metal should contain sufficient drafts.